Hey, so I know I'm still supposed to be on a break from uploading, not doing a very good job of that, clearly, but this is important. I'm sure if you're here, you probably already know what I'm talking about, but in the event that you don't, let me break it down for you. A few days ago, Minecraft 1.19.1 got its first pre-release, and along with the typical patch notes you would expect, they were casually like, oh, by the way, we can ban you from multiplayer in realms now if we want, and that rightfully pissed some people off. But there's also a lot of misinformation and speculation going around, so let's go through what we know, what we think, and what this means for Minecraft as a whole, starting from the top. This isn't actually the first time we've dealt with a situation like this. If you can remember, back in December 2020, the exact same thing happened but with Bedrock Edition. Suddenly, if you violated any of the community standards, you could be banned from multiplayer, realms, Minecraft Earth, which no longer exists, and the marketplace. Xbox players had it even worse, and they got fully locked out of even their single-player worlds, effectively banning them from the entirety of Minecraft. When this came around, people were not happy, at all, but it was at least forgivable. Compared to Java Edition, the Bedrock player base is pretty infamously filled with kids as opposed to the teens and adults that Java tends to attract. In fact, the average age for a Minecraft player is 24 years old. And most of the bannable offenses were ones that, well, deserved it. Spammers aren't real players and we don't need them around. Malicious links, doxing, and real-life threats were some serious offenses that warranted punishment, and most of the other ones like hate speech and sexual content should probably not be seen by, you know, your 6-year-old cousin that's on his mom's phone playing Lifeboat 24/7. But that doesn't mean there weren't concerns, and they all, for the most part, boiled down to one thing: context. What constitutes spamming? Does "hey, join my server for a free rank" really justify a ban? Cheating and exploits are allowed on some servers, so what then? If you use the nickname of a staff member, is that impersonation? Leaking an IP might be considered personal information, but what about something like name or age, or a more general location like state or country? Real-life threats could be anything. What if some kid says, "I'm gonna beat you up" as a joke and gets banned? Sexual content in chat, like what? Is the word booba forbidden now? No more PP jokes? What about e-daters, which are cringy, but they don't need to be banned? And hate speech, that again, could be anything, and considering much of Mojang is based in Sweden, there's gonna be terrible things that slip through the cracks and innocent things that get false flagged. So yeah, a reporting system wasn't a terrible idea, but it was very overbearing, and there was tons of room for error. But everyone was like, yeah, but Bedrock is basically Diet Minecraft for kids, so better safe than sorry, I guess. Unfortunately for us though, that was not the end of it. Fast forward to today, and we're going through the drama again, but it's even worse. Why? Well, let's start slow from the announcement. The exact words describing the new system are, along with the support for reporting chat, and this is referring to the UI they added, I assume, reported players can now be banned from online play and realms after moderator review. The game will show a notice screen on startup if you've been banned from online play. The reason for the ban is shown, as well as how long the ban is valid for. If you're curious as to what this looks like, here's a screenshot courtesy of Phoenix SC, and it's a fairly typical ban screen, like what you would see after getting banned on a server, only a bit more detailed. Now, this is all well and fine if it were used properly, as a last resort for seriously bad people when servers completely fail to act and players fail to stop. And that's what Mojang staff seem to want you to believe based on what they've said about the update. For example, this Reddit comment from their senior community manager who basically said just that. Thing is though, that's not true. Like, that's just not true at all. Those words mean nothing. I don't know if they're lying or just actually don't know what's going on behind the scenes with their own game, but yeah, no. Like, look at what you can get reported for. Hate speech and threats are still there from before, and they even removed cheating and added some categories like terrorism, child abuse, and revenge porn, all of which definitely do not need to be on the platform. But like, harassment? So I can't call someone a poopy head? False information? So all the flat earthers are just gone now. Drugs or alcohol? Does that mean I can't share my love for bourbon whiskey and peach Bacardi? And profanity? What? I can't even let my anger from this update out with a few resounding hecks in Minecraft chat? Literally, the kindergarten bathroom stalls at my school had more offensive material than what is currently being restricted on a game primarily played by adults. Full-grown adults. Adults that can drink, smash, vote, go to war for their country, and yet cannot talk about any of those over the world's favorite block game. And if you think that maybe these are just catch-alls and you won't actually get banned for something like sexual words or profanity, you would sadly be wrong. A lot of the experiences over on Bedrock Edition, where a reporting system already exists, are less than ideal. For example, what about this guy who typed boobies on an anvil and got banned for it? Or maybe some of the other players that have been banned for profanity even in their private single-player worlds according to their own testimony. But since these are only for serious offenses, the bans cannot be appealed, and you either have to wait it out if it's temporary, or suck it up and buy a new account if you're unfortunate enough to earn a permanent ban. This is stupid. This is really stupid. And I've heard some people defend it by saying like, oh, if you haven't done anything wrong, then you shouldn't worry. But these categories are so broad and far-reaching that I literally cannot name a single player that hasn't done at least like 3 of these. If this was actually actively enforced, the Minecraft player base would be down to monks, nuns, and unborn fetuses with a mouse and keyboard wired directly into their brain, and even then, most of them are probably not safe. But although this does seem terrible, and it is terrible, don't get me wrong, it is also being blown way out of context by a lot of people. So, with a calmer mind and a more rational, reasonable approach, let's look at what this means. First off, this report system is in very, very early stages. It is not finalized whatsoever, which means that some of these offenses might disappear from the report list, some might be rephrased and hopefully more specific, and so on. And on top of that, I find it hard to believe that Mojang's team would be able to deal with every single report by hand as they're claiming. So chances are that most reports will be essentially ignored, and only ones with certain keywords, certain site links, or maybe just players that get reported a lot will be actually looked at. Also, people seem to think that this is going to affect the entire Minecraft community when that's just not true. From everything I can tell, this will only go into effect for versions from 1.19.1 and later. Similar to how when servers got banned for violating the EULA, that only went into effect after version 1.9, I think, don't quote me on that. And that basically means that PvPers, Anarchy players, modpack users, and a lot more are going to be completely safe, since most servers like those are on 1.8, 1.12, maybe 1.16 or 1.18, and that's about it. This is only really gonna hurt people playing on the newest version of the game, which is a sizable portion of the player base, but I do think that portion of the player base is probably younger, and also probably not nearly as prone to violating any of these rules, though that's not to say it won't happen. And finally, if you have to have 1.19.1 but you're worried about this, there's literally already mods to prevent this from affecting you. For example, the No Chat Reports mod, which was made even before chat reporting was added because 1.19 started adding cryptographic signatures to chat messages, which are supposedly used for reports. Please, by the way, don't take this as a wholehearted endorsement of that mod. I have not tested it out, and it's definitely used at your own risk, but I'm just saying there are solutions out there and more will come. All in all, this is a pretty bad move on Mojang's part in my personal opinion, and I'm truly hoping that they listen to the players who are almost unanimously up in arms about the report system, but who knows. This isn't the first time in recent months they've disappointed players. All you have to do is say the word fireflies to make a fan weep, so let's just hope for the best. That's about it though. Discuss in the comments or in my Discord if you want, you know the drill. Have yourselves a very good one. Peace.